So what's up, man? I'm pretty easy going, man. You don't have to be formal or don't call me sir. I work for a living, damn it. And let's talk, man. Anybody got questions? Something you want to know? Burning question. No, I never dated Kimberly. I would have dated Trini. Trini was my girl. By far, still to this day, my favorite Ranger.
Hey, Austin. I just have a question. The reboot Power Rangers 2017 movie. What was your opinion of it? Did you like it or?
I got a lot to say on that one. So a couple things. I loved. Well, Rita was hot, for starters. If that had been my Rita, the Red Ranger would have been evil in the TV series. I had switched teams like that. So I loved Elizabeth. I loved the work that she did. I thought she did a great job as Rita. I loved the beginning of the film where we see Zordon as the Red Ranger and Rita as the Green. Was it the Green Ranger? Is that right? Okay. Wonder where that's going to go. Gee whiz. Anyway, so I kind of love that whole setup and understanding of the dynamic, which in my series when we first started, Zordon was always, he addressed all of us, but he always made his pointed statements at me. You know, like, well, you guys watched. So it was kind of one of those things where he definitely spoke to me and had greater expectations of me, but we never understood why in the series. So I loved what they did with the film because that kind of tied it in for me. I was like, oh man, that is so cool. Zordon was Red Ranger. That's why he's so careful about picking his leader. So that was, I thought, pretty cool. Favorite scene in the movie? Where Jason pimp slaps the bully in detention. Never could have done that in the 90s, ever. But super cool scene. The Zords. Like, what do they do with the Zords? In the TV series, they were bigger than skyscrapers. They were huge and massive. And in the TV series, like it was, or in the movie, it was barely bigger than like a 3-story Dunkin' Donuts. And where in the hell has anybody seen a 3-story Dunkin' Donuts? Anybody? One on every block. All right, so maybe in 3 blocks you could have a 3-story, but I thought the Tyrannosaurus was barely taller than Dunkin' Donuts. That is so not cool. That's not cool. And the Mastodon, he's not a cockroach. Why'd you give him 6 legs? 6 legs. Did anybody else catch that? Like, it's not Cockroach Ranger, it's Mastodon. You know? So that was kind of different. Goldar, I thought, looked super cool, even though he was a long way from the original Goldar. What I missed was the voice. Like, when I saw Goldar roll up and become massive, I was all about it. And then when he didn't utter a word, I was like, wah, wah. Like, what? Come on. Kerrigan Mayhem, Rangers! You know, like I was waiting for that voice. Where was it? So ode to Kerrigan Mayhem on that one. Zordon, the whole moving thing on the wall, the face. What do you guys think of that? The whole, kind of like those pin things where you put your hand in and it makes a handprint. Love that. I thought that was super dynamic, really cool. Alpha 5 looked cool as hell. What about the voice? What about the voice? I was missing our original voice. Favorite character in the film? RJ Silent. RJ Silent. And I loved that they brought in an autism spectrum for that. So RJ Silent was amazing. One of my favorite lines in the movie, dude, I'm the Black Ranger. No, you're not. No, you're not. That was pretty cool. I don't know, am I missing anything else? Where were the bullies? Like, I mean, there was 2 seconds of bullies in the room, or I guess in detention, but that was it. Things I missed, fighting. We fought, man, that was my JOB. Like, that is all I did. 6 putties, 10 putties, 100 putties, whatever it was, I was always fighting the putties. And then when you get done beating up the putties, then we fought the monsters, still unmorphed. And then, no, I guess maybe we'd morph by the time the monster got there. But then the monster would grow, and then we would morph. You know what I mean? In the film, it was like 2 seconds of of, you know, wham, bam, punch, kick, and then they morphed. And then when they morphed, the mask was up. Like, you can't see me. You know, I was like, come on, man. So I don't know. Love, hate, but I gotta respect those who went out of their way to take a 25-year, 40-country, 90-language legacy and try to recreate it, knowing that half the crowd might like it, and the other half is gonna hate it. If you do it right, half's gonna love it, the other half's gonna hate it. That's a recreation. So that's kind of cool. I got much respect for him. Decree Montgomery, I wouldn't want to be called back to redo Captain Kirk or Luke Skywalker. I mean, I would be flattered as hell. I would probably take the job, but wow, could you imagine? Tag, we want you on camera in a week. You're going to be the next Captain Kirk. I mean, those are some shoes to fill, right? So I have nothing but respect for the actors that stepped up to recreate those roles. It took a lot of courage, and I think they did. I think they did a great job. So that's my answer for the film.
Hi, Austin. Whoa. Hi, Austin. I'm David. I actually got your autograph a few years ago. From the original series, do you have a favorite monster?
Probably the putties. Because they're the unsung heroes, man. That was all the stunt guys. They were in every episode. We fought them. You know, that whole, like, come on, you know you want to do it with me. Somebody. Ready? One. Everybody. 1, 2, 3. Doesn't that feel good? It still feels good. All these years later, it still feels good. So anyway, I love the putties because those guys were amazing stuntmen, amazing martial artists, and their story doesn't get out that often. As far as actual monsters go, probably Goldar, because I fought him like it was my job also. Rita was cool. I can remember being in the ADR box and always seeing, you know, now you must pay. Mess with my family. You know, I think it was just really bad, and I kind of loved it in that really bad way. So that was cool. And I remember in the first season they were always talking about, you know, we gotta keep this chill. You know, it's a family-oriented film, no violence, nothing scary. And then they brought in Lord Zed. When they brought that costume on set and we saw it for the first time, you could see the blood coursing through his veins, the muscles, sinews, and fibers. And I looked one look at him and turned around and looked, and I was like, where are the producers who told me this was a kid-friendly thing? And so they compensated for it by making him a complete idiot. And I was like, okay, well, I guess that does it too. He married Rita and they lived in a trailer on the moon, didn't they, or something? Like, I caught a clip of that somewhere many moons later. I was like, is that Zed and Rita in a trailer? Did they just become white trash? What happened? You know, I was stunned. You know, there's Babu and Squat and those guys, Fenster, like they're always great. Scorpino was yummy. Come on, guys. Yeah, you're sitting next to your ladies, you can't say anything. No, I didn't think so. Not me. Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, yes, please. All right, next question. You must be very careful. If you do not have a good question, I will ship you to Russian gulag forever. You will be breaking big rocks into little rocks for the rest of your life. Duh.
It's technically his question.
Yeah, I just wanted to look at you.
What was your favorite season?
Oh, man. Favorite season? Well, I mean, it's not really, I don't really have a good answer for that one because I guess I was in 3 seasons, wasn't I? So I was Mighty Morphin, I was Turbo, and then I was it Wild Force? I think that was Forever Red. So, and I've only seen 3 of the 100 plus episodes I filmed, and I haven't seen any of the other episodes. So, it was Zeo, it wasn't Turbo. It was Turbo the movie, Zeo the series. Thank you for telling me about my life. I get so confused. Yeah, so, I mean, I guess my heart is always going to go back to, like, my favorite episode will always be the original unaired pilot. So, Mighty Morphin. And I do that because that's where everything started for me as a young boy, as a man. I just turned 18. I wasn't an actor, clearly. And, but I was a lifetime martial artist, so that was, I learned, Walter, who took me under his wing, who played Zach, the Black Ranger, of course, he took me under his wing and he taught me important little details like, hey man, when you're gonna say a line, you should probably make sure that the camera can see your face. I was like, oh, I'll try that. Yeah, so it was like, I had no idea, but probably Mighty Morphin, just because that was the genesis for me, the beginning.
So Jason, that played the Green Ranger, came back in the middle season as the mentor figure. Would you ever be willing to do a similar role like that?
He did what? Jason, my character came back as a mentor?
No, the actor Jason.
Jason Frank. Oh,
Jason.
he came back as a mentor.
Yeah.
I was just talking to somebody about Harry Potter, so all I was hearing was dementor. I was like, I was trying to tie this in my head. It didn't work. Yeah, I would come back as a mentor. Absolutely. I think it would just have to be. It would have to be written well. You know what I mean, and pay respect both to whoever I was mentoring, as well as the legacy behind Jason. I've had invitations to come back almost every single year, and you know, Megaforce, the Super Mega Smackdown, whatever that was. I was in the Middle East for the war. I couldn't come back and film. I couldn't leave, obviously. I retired. I came home from the war in I don't know, March of 2014, and April. And I think that was kind of my reintroduction into the fandom and meeting you guys as adults. And that was a pretty cool thing for me because I hadn't experienced it. Last time I saw most of you guys prior to that was, you know, you were little bitties hiding behind mom's legs. So to come back now, when I came back for Forever Red and for, you know, the Gold Ranger, I was always pretty particular. And I think that the writers, thank goodness, have always been very careful about how they write Jason. And Jason is a walk softly, carry a big stick sort of leader. He's a leader who's always going to put his team first. When he's out with his friends, we're all equal. Everybody's capable of doing their own jobs. Jason was always about putting his team first. So I think that coming back as a mentor, that's probably the tack that I would take. Jason wasn't a showboat, he wasn't a pretty boy, he didn't have all the bling, you know, and he didn't need it. And he never even raised his voice until it was morphin' time. And that was where we saw a very soft-spoken guy break out a really big stick. And that's how, I think that's more of how I am in life too. You know, you can run your mouth, you can talk, people can pig, boss can be a jerk, you know, friends can be jerks, whatever. You know, there's jerks, that's life, there's jerks. And I tend to just blow them off until I'm up against the wall and I have no choice. And then they're gonna hate their life. So I think that's, as a mentor, that's kind of the tack I would want to come back with, you know, grabbing these young guys or these young girls and bringing them up, helping them find their inner power, helping them find that inner confidence and that strength that we're all born with, but many struggle to find, and guide them in the right directions, you know, to make those right calls without being loud or egotistical or flashy and stuff like that, you know. Humility. That's a word that would describe Jason. He was humble. And I think that's something I would try to impart to the other upcoming Rangers. And, of course, I'd love to have a couple of great fight scenes where I got to annihilate, you know, 15 guys or something. That would be fun, too. Do you guys know about the new video game I just released? How many of you are gamers? Jeez. One or two, huh? A lot. So I just released a game called Black Salt Corruption. And it's corruption, C-O-R-E, and then uption. And so I work with Owen Ratliff and Jesse Wright. Owen Ratliff started a graphic novel like 14 years ago where he created the first black James Bond MI6 kung fu super awesome, amazing hero type guy. And now we've combined it with corruption. We put together some other cool characters. I have a character in this game where, you know, again, because my character was always half naked on the series, so I'm shirtless again, with this huge red dragon tattoo that starts on the chest and goes down the arm. And unlike Street Fighter and Tekken, which are 2D side to side, we are the world's only full arena 3D martial arts fighting game. And so we're on Steam. You can download it now in beta, I think for like 14 or 17 bucks. It's super cheap. And then this fall, and by the end of the year, we'll be out on Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo. So if you're interested in seeing, and then the corruption side, we got like Dragunov and Sam and Destroy, and we have these wicked characters. And everybody's using guns and swords, except for this guy. I was like, I don't want to use anything that everybody uses. And so I'm going to end up using the Chinese chain whip with a spear tip on it. Did you guys ever see the movie Ninja? It was years ago, where he's using that long spear tip with the whip. That's what I'm using. So you'll see some super cool stuff, and there's like multi-strikes, and we're gonna have combat tournaments and all kinds of cool stuff. So if you're into games, you should check that out. Black Salt Corruption, it's on Steam. I got all kinds of stuff. I can keep going. What do you want? What do you want? What do you got?
So I just wanted to say Power Rangers was my favorite show as a kid, so thank you for helping to make my childhood awesome.
My pleasure.
So I'm curious, just what are your thoughts on knowing that you were essentially part of the inaugural series or season of a show that's gone on for this long, like that you were there for the very beginning of that, and then if you have time after that, maybe just like some of your favorite experiences you had working with your fellow Rangers in the cast?
When the series started, well, when I first auditioned, I wasn't an actor. I went to the audition on a $20 bet. Depending on which person in the past I talked to, you know, thousands to 10,000 guys came out for each of our roles. So the fact that I landed the role on a $20 bet still blows my mind. I think it's also why, you know, I'm not super dressy. There's not a lot of bling. The only jewelry I wear is this, and that's because I just launched a jewelry line. This is Jason's high school graduation ring. So for me to go from that mindset, dad was a Marine, mom was a cop. I played football. I was in high school at the beginning of the series. I dropped out to take the job. Ooh, you should have seen my dad. Mom was like, go ahead, baby. Dad was like, he didn't even speak. He was just, that major in the Marine Corps, I can't even make that look, is good. And so long story short, I ended up landing the role. The series, for the audition, it was called Phantoms. So it wasn't come audition for Power Rangers, be the Red Ranger. It was, we're looking for 5 heroes for a show called Phantoms. And my character's name, anybody know my character's name at the time? The original name of my character was Victor. Could you imagine that? Is that not soap opera? That was Power Rangers' turn. You know, it would have been so cheesy. Anyway, yes, Zach, I feel like that should be cool. I can't even think about that. So anyway, we kind of debated, because we're reading this through and we're going through it and we're like, wow, this is cheesy. None of us knew if it would even get picked up by Fox. And the original pilot, like I was kicking Bulk in the face, I hammered him and then kicked him down the bowling alley. Well, Fox took that episode and they were like, this is way too violent for kids. You must take out all the violence. No headshots. So they went back. Now you see my foot go up, like I'm gonna kick Bulk in the head, and then there's a gap. You see my foot come down and his head flipping around the other way. You never see contact. So we sent it back to him again, refilmed it that way. And they're like, oh, okay, we'll give you a limited run, we'll try a couple episodes. And then you guys went nuts. And 40 countries, 90 languages went nuts. So how do I feel about that? At the time, we were filming so much, so fast the first year, almost 12 to 16-hour days, 5 days a week, and then Saturday I would come in and do ADR, which was another portion of the series. So for the first year, none of us really had the time to experience life outside of filming. It was every day on set. And then one day, so this is how I found out. I'm sitting on set, I'm with Walter Jones, Zach, and we're sitting in what you guys would know of as like the director's chairs. And I've got my Red Ranger suit tied down around my waist because I was hot, so I'm cooling off. Walter was doing the same thing. And Jonathan, the producer, comes down. He's like, guys, I want to let you know that you're doing a good job. Your show now is #1 in the world. good job. And he turns around and walks back up the stairs. And I'm sitting there with my script and I'm like, and I look over at Walter. Walter looks at me, we're tired, we've been filming all day. I was like, that just happened. And he's like, yeah. And we went right back to reading our script. So that was how unceremonious it was. And same thing when they handed me my toy for the first time. I was like, oh my God, well, that was more cool for me anyway. I was like, that's my toy. I'm holding myself in my hand, and not in a perverted way. Like, this is so cool. You know, I was like, wow. And so that was pretty cool. I hated the picture. I still hate the picture. Do you remember the little triangle box one? Hated that picture. Oh, it was so bad. I think they did that on purpose. So anyway, so that was the beginning for me. I didn't really understand what the fame attached to it was going to be until we got Vacation. And the owner of the show is traditional Jewish. So he didn't really care about Christmas. He had Hanukkah. And when his entire American cast was like, we've been filming all year, Christmas is coming, dude. Like, come on. So we got a whole week off for Christmas. I was like, I'm gonna go Christmas shopping. Like, all I wanted was a pair of jeans. So I got in my Jeep, like I would have any other day of my life, drove down to the Glendale Galleria. And as I was walking in, I noticed a few people that were, like that whole, when they walked by, it's like, do I have bats in the cave? What's going on, man? Boogers? And I didn't get it. And I'm looking at these adults and the kids, and they're just staring. I was like, this is weird. And it wasn't even connecting. I made it in the doors to the Galleria, the main entrance, when the first scream let out. Oh man. I was wearing jeans and a t-shirt, socks, 2 pairs of shoes, a hat and sunglasses. When it was over, my shirt was shredded. The back pockets had been ripped off the back of my jeans. I was missing one shoe, my hat was gone, and I don't know who has my shades today. And I had claw marks down my back. Some of your moms were perverts. Let me tell you, I know how you all got here. So, anyway, that was spooky. They had called mall security. And finally got this massive crowd off me, escorted me out. And I can remember them telling, you have to call us and let us know when you're coming so we can provide security. I was still shocked at the fact I'd just been mauled, you know? And even more disturbing, mauled by the parents. I was like, I thought it was them that was supposed to like me, you know? And so that was pretty cool. First time it hit me big, I was on set and they brought out the Make-A-Wish kids. And these little kids were hiding behind mom's legs. And I can remember it to this day, this little boy hiding behind mom's leg. And she and I were talking for 15 minutes before I ever saw his face. And finally, I guess he got comfortable and he kind of poked his head around and he just looked up at me. And the look of awe. To this day, I have a photographic, I just have a vivid mental picture of the look on his face. And it hit me between the eyes like a 2x4 because I realized at that point, that's what I would have done if I met Superman at the age of 5. Or Spider-Man at the age of 5. And from that point forward, it forever changed the way I thought about what it was I was doing on the show. In fact, it still affects me. But it affected me for years. It's the reason when I left the show, I was like, you know, I've got something to live up to. And that's part of why I joined the fire department. Part of why I became a medic. Part of why I spent 4 years in the Middle East for the war. It's part of why I've taught martial arts all over the world. It's part of why when any of you come to my table, I sit down and I shake your hand and we talk like we've known each other forever. Because I remember that look. And today, in all of these spaces, when you guys come up to my table and I see the quiet trying to control, you know, the shady, I got this, don't break, you know? And then I see the other guys who just come up immediately and they're like ear-to-ear grins, just, there's the 5-year-old. And I think that is the coolest thing ever. Today, I get to travel the world, all over the world, and I get to meet everybody's inner 5, 7, 10, 12-year-old and hear about how much they love what my castmates and I did. And we all know the term job satisfaction, but I don't know that it really gets any better than that. That's pretty awesome. And you guys have inspired me to do things that I've done so that I would never let down, even 20, 30, 50 years from now, the image that you guys created in your heads based on what I did in front of the camera. So I have you guys to thank for helping me do some things I'm very proud of.
Hi. Whoa, okay, that's a little loud. So I was wondering, would you ever do an R-rated Power Rangers series? And afterwards, what would you like it to be if you could do it?
Absolutely. Can you guys, think back on Batman? Way back when, alright, some of you maybe only saw it on rerun. Actually, I saw it on rerun. But, so the original Batman, pow, bang, boom, Joker, super cheesy. It was the original Power Rangers. You know what I'm saying? But, look at Batman today. Dark Knight. It's taken this whole dark, shadowy, gruesome at times, scary at times, sort of twist. I would love to be involved with something like that. That would be so much fun. With the understanding that, it's touted as rated R. With the understanding that the original series is still the original series, you know what I mean? It would have to be clear so you didn't walk into a movie theater going, oh, we're gonna watch Power Rangers, and you got your 3 littles with you, and you're like, we've got to go. As long as those lines were clear, I would love to do it. Bad guys have all the fun. That would be so cool. I just want to be a bad guy. I got to do it in Turbo the movie, but I would love to be super twisted. Another thing, so Hasbro has the whole thing now. They just bought it for $522 million. How many of you guys watched the G.I. Joe and all that stuff that they did a few years back? G.I. Joe fans, anybody? Wow, not many. Okay. Everybody's watching Marvel and stuff right now, right? Okay. I love Marvel. I love Marvel. I love Gal Gadot. But I've never been a bandwagon fan of what everybody's doing. If everybody's doing it, I deliberately want to go the other way. So if they wanted to tie up the Red Ranger or the Rangers and do a Marvel or DC crossover, I would do that in a minute. But I would love to take a road that isn't being traveled right now. I would love to do a crossover with G.I. Joe, put them in combat, give them some wicked battle armor and weapons and stuff like that. Or do a crossover with, Mortal Kombat or, something that is not mainstream that everybody's doing. That's kind of my super cool thing. How many of you guys saw was it Joseph Kahn? I can't remember the guy who did the dark version of the Power Rangers not too long ago. Did you guys see that trailer? Yeah, oh my God, all the hype that came out of that, man, calm down, it's TV. Everybody, I can't believe they did that. There's bad words and violence, and blah, blah, blah. And other people were like, oh, I loved it, again, 50-50. And I remember I let the hype go on for weeks. People were hammering me. They're like, we want your opinion. What do you think? What do you think? And I just let it go, and I let it go, and I let it go. Because I hate hype. I hate hype. And finally, I was like, all right, I'm going to give a different approach on this. And I came in and I talked about how well directed I thought it was. What a good job the actors did. The production value on the project was insane. The special effects were great. The only piece I kind of didn't like, again, because I think it's mainstream, is they made the Black Ranger, they made him a cokehead. I was like, all right, come on. Black guy, drugs. How many times do we have to see that before it's old? Come on, move on. Let's make Kimberly the cokehead. You know what I mean? Let's do something off the beaten path. Something. I don't know. Put me in a pink skirt and have her snorting coke. I don't know. But don't put me in a pink skirt. Yellow skirt. Now that's acceptable. So, I don't know, I would love to see a totally dark version, but I don't think they're going to do that. I wish they would. I hope they do. And if they do, I would love to be all over that somewhere.
You probably get this question a lot, so I'm really sorry. But obviously, you spend a lot of time on set with everyone, with the cast. Are you still close to the cast? Do you guys ever like get together and just like, let's pretend we're Power Rangers today and walk around the mall?
I'm gonna have to call them all up and be like, let's put on our suits and go to the mall. No helmet, let's just strut. That would be funny as hell. I'm gonna have to, I can think of one or two that might do it with me. The other three wouldn't even consider it, but I can think of one or two that'd be like, that'd be fun. Call security. So anyway, yeah, I mean, gosh, what's it, 26 years now. The only one I kept contact with after I left, well, two, Twee, obviously. Twee and Walter and I, we all left the show together to stand up for what we believed was right, which was how horrible the show was paying everyone, including behind the scenes, the crew and lighting, and everyone was paid horrible on that show. And in the first year the show made $1 billion. I made $622.11 every 2 weeks after taxes. So the two that left with me, Walter and Twee, we stayed pretty close. Twee obviously has passed away. Walter's been probably my best friend in 25, 26 years. So we're still very tight. In fact, he was the one who called me on the Iraqi-Kuwaiti border to even tell me what a Comic-Con was, so that I knew to come back to it. I thought he was giving me a Bad Boy George joke. So it was pretty close with them. When it comes to Amy, Dave I've traveled with for years now around the world. Dave, Walter, Karen. I've met so many of the Rangers, there's like 100+ Rangers now. Did you guys know that? Like a bajillion. So I've met many of them and they're all welcome. It's kind of like Special Forces or the fire department. You know, once you've earned the right, you're a part of the family. Even if you're one of the, you know, redheaded idiots. Not redheaded, what's the term? Redheaded bastard child or whatever that word. Stepchild. There we go, I can't remember. And really there's only one in the fandom that is that idiot. But I think for the most part we're all pretty close on some degree. I saw all of the originals for the film premiere in Westwood. It was in downtown Los Angeles. They rented out 2 blocks. The new cast came, the old cast, we were all there, Entertainment Tonight, iHeartRadio, you know, all the fancy mumbo jumbo junk. And we had a great time. We had a great time. So that was kind of cool. I got to meet, not Alice Cooper, it was Gene Simmons. So here's a funny story for you, all right. So my agent is the world's biggest fanboy. I am positive that he began as an agent because he wanted everyone's autograph in the world. So we get there, we're at the premiere, and he is like a puppy in heat. He is just all over the place, super excited. And we're in the theater, we finally make it in past the red carpet, and I'm going to get a Diet Coke, and I see this really tall guy in all black walk by, don't think much of it, and somebody whispers next to me, with my agent standing next to me, that's Gene Simmons. I'm horrible. So I'm running through my head in Rolodex, I'm like, I know this name, but I have no idea why. Running through it, I'm like, all right, Diet Coke. My agent jumps like he's been tased. He's like, ugh, and he goes, run up, Gene, can I get a photo of you with Austin St. John? And I'm like, Gene, why is he gonna care who the holy hell Austin St. John is? And so I get over there, and he's like, sure. This is his old demeanor, sure. And I get over there, he's got a box of popcorn in one hand, a soda in the other hand, and he's eating out of a box like we've all done a million times. Popcorn on his lips, and I get next to him and we pose, and he's like, finish the picture, and he turns around and walks off, and I was like, rock star, that's who that guy was. Okay, yeah, all right, that face, that look, that's what drugs do to you. Okay, I got it. So anyway, yeah, so we get along, we see each other.
In recent years, JDF and some others have been willing to do videos on YouTube where they reprise their roles. And I was wondering if you'd ever consider doing a short YouTube thing or something, where you show what Jason is up to nowadays, maybe even showing him returning from the Middle East.
I have a project that it's been sitting on my back shelf for years. So I'm not going to elaborate too much. Am I going to do a YouTube video for 15 minutes with a couple of the actors and put out something with no budget that I don't think looks amazing? I won't do that. What I will do when the time is right, in fact, I need to thank you for the reminder. I have a lot of projects. I need to call a producer friend of mine. I have something that I'm looking to put together that is along one of the lines you just mentioned, that will carry a whole new fandom, and you guys would see things, well, it'll blow your mind. I'm working on something. That's all I'm going to say right now. In time, before I die, I hope.
What's one of the worst injuries you or someone you know has sustained during filming of the Power Rangers?
You know, most of my cast, we were pretty fortunate. Let's see, Amy Jo and David were incredible gymnasts. Walter and myself, he was Shotokan karate, and I had a megalithic background in martial arts even then. So out of the original 5, we were, well, Trini Twee, she had to do some martial arts training for the show. But I think she's the only one I know of out of the original 5 that had an injury. I think she had a knee injury. She wore a brace for a bit. The stunt guys were insanely talented, and I think we were pretty fortunate. I did see one guy, and this was oh man, I was so, all of us were crushed over this. Guy was a world champion, or world level Kung Fu competitor, and Kung Fu or Wing Chun? Might have been Wing Chun. And the guy was just insanely talented. He was getting ready to go to China to do the world competition in whatever art it was. And insane martial artist. And he was doing, they were setting up a wire gag where you tie all the wires and you see people magically do 500 flips through the air without touching the ground. That's a wire gag. Or really good special effects, one of the two. In my day, it was a wire gag. And they tested him on the wire, and he went through and he did it, looked perfect. But they didn't test him wearing the monster suit, which added another 90 pounds. And this fight, I was supposed to go up underneath and swipe his legs, and he was supposed to do this immediate flip in the air and then land, and, you know, part of my victory. Well, because they put him in the suit and didn't test him doing the same thing in the suit on the wire wasn't strong enough and it snapped. And it broke his leg. And that was the end of his world competition for that year. It was wild. That is the only bad injury I saw. It's a wonder I didn't break my neck, because I was always jumping off of rocks, flipping off of everything. I was so stupid. But I still am. You know, a couple of years ago I went diving with great whites. Loved that. I went to the Middle East, volunteered, not too bright. I've never been accused of being smart, but I do have fun. Next question.
So, thank you for your service. And who are some of your heroes?
First, I'd have to say my mom and dad. Dad was a Mustanger in the Marine Corps, enlisted. He was an officer and a gentleman. Taught me the old ways that are dying hard right now. Chivalry, how to treat a lady, how to act not as a man, as a gentleman. Back before it was uncool to be one or the other. So my mom was the first female cop either in the city of Roswell, New Mexico, or in the state of New Mexico in the 1970s, where if you didn't have something dangling between your legs, you didn't belong in the police force. And some of her own partners tried to have her killed She was a tough lady, still is. And so those two were the walk softly, carry your big sticks that I kind of modeled myself after. So they were my first two heroes. After that, Chuck Norris. You know, he has a fifth fist behind his beard. Do you know how, oh, I got one for you. Do you know, if you have little ones, maybe you should cover it here. I'm not gonna be profane, but it will definitely be suggestive. Do you know how the Ninja Turtles were created? Chuck Norris put a spent condom down the toilet. 2 weeks later, the Ninja Turtles were born. So Chuck Norris is the man. I grew up watching him, Invasion USA, and just coolest stuff. I thought he was super cool. Of course, I loved Bruce Lee, Jet Li, Jackie Chan, another insane martial artist. As far as like DC Marvel, I guess, really, back in our day, Spidey, he was a cartoon, I love that. But the one that I could really see on TV, back when we were slicing bread for the first time, was Christopher Reeve's Superman. Faster than a speeding bullet, or whatever it was, able to jump a building in a single bound. Like, that was awesome. And Linda Carter, who's here, Wonder Woman, probably my first crush. I was like, I don't know what she does with those bracelets, but it's working for me. So I thought that was pretty cool. Fall Guy? You guys ever watch Fall? Anybody even know what Fall Guy is? Fall Guy? I just wanted his truck. You get the theme song? I believe it. He had the coolest truck in the world. I just wanted to drive the truck. And I'm trying to think of who else was around back then. But I think that was it. Like, that was my core team. Yeah. Anybody else? What are you giggling so much for?
Can you do like the same things that you do? Yeah.
So this was the, can you do? That's what I was saying. What do you mean, you didn't get that? Come on. That's fine. So I shifted years ago. I think if I spent maybe a month working on stretching again, I could probably do the aerial kicks. I quit doing that when I went overseas for the war because I realized I've probably been through about 23 different arts nowadays. And most of what I shifted to in the Middle East was rapid hands. So Krav Maga, Kempo, combat-related martial arts. Which is why when I teach now, I tell people, show them what you wear on the street. Show them what you wear when you go to work. Because if you're attacked on the street, or if you have an issue in public, it's not like, hold on, let me go get my black belt. Wait, let me take this karate stance. I have a 15 million degree black belt. Don't make me kill you. It doesn't work like that. You get mugged, you get mugged. You get into a fight, it happens. It's quick. So I shifted away from a lot of the super high flying kicks, which I'm in the process of stripping back down and stretching for because I have some stuff coming up. So the answer is yes, you will see it again soon. But it hasn't been my focus for years. So that's a good question. So let me ask you this. Well, come on up while you're walking. How many of you how many of you speak to like the visceral native side of who you are, if you have one? Most of us do. Like, how many of you like the show Vikings? Right? Love that show. If I could create or be a part of a current show, I would love to be like a Viking warrior or, something from that time. I would love to, because when I tan, I get super, super dark. I would love to be part of like a, Native American series or something along those lines. I don't know, none of you, anybody, do you enjoy those sorts of things? Could you imagine? We'd have to be we could break up our Scottish accent and we could talk about freedom again. Do you know what I'm saying? We could lead this army across there and take out that Saxon horde, those dirty pigs. You know what I mean? Like something along those lines, that'd be great. Or maybe we could just do a Lucky Charms commercial. Yes, we'd leave purple horseshoes and clovers, and we could be making that no in the front of our mouths as an Irish accent. We could do that too, you know. Or maybe something proper, you know, British. It was a series that was out where it was like the Queen of the Prime Minister of World War II. You know, he was always having a bit of a rather proper English accent, and we could be discussing many of these things. What are you looking at, sir? You know, I mean, it's like stuff like that. I love stuff like that. You know, whereas instead of just being me, I don't know, it's just food for thought. I like that stuff. Next.
So I'm curious if you could go back in time and do things over again and play a different one of the members of the cast of Power Rangers, either a different Ranger or supporting character, who you want to play and why?
I don't know that I would want to play anybody else. I think if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm pretty content with what I've done, you know what I mean? I think I'm pretty good with that. I think I would like to have stayed longer as the Gold Ranger. That would have been cool. It was the only Ranger in history to have the power of 3 Rangers at one time. Jason had a lot of firsts and onlys. He's the only Ranger to ever fight a monster unmorphed, without a weapon, without his morpher. He's the only Ranger who's never been defeated. While he had some battles that were lost, he never lost anything he set out to defeat. Whether it took 1 episode or 3. I don't know, I think I'm pretty happy. Like it was 2 Rangers with the power of 4 Rangers. I had 5 Zords. I would like to, all right, I got beef. You guys want to hear my beef? Billy, that boy, #1, David Yost, he tried out to be the Red Ranger. They were like, no dice. And he'll tell you the story. He came back, tried Blue Ranger, nailed it. Billy had 8 girlfriends on the show. Dude was a secret pimp. Zach had like 15 tries to get a girlfriend, but never got one. Amy or Kim and Tommy, they had their thing. Trini never had a boyfriend. All right, so I don't have beef with Trini. I never had a girlfriend. Like, no, until the end of the Gold Ranger series. And then I got to walk off down the beach with my arm around a girl. Like, that was the closest I ever got. What the heck? Were they trying to tell me something? Like, was that, I felt so not worthy, I'm just saying. I think everybody else had girlfriends. I just couldn't get one. I don't know. Maybe she didn't like my ride. Too many teeth. Tyrannosaurus, what? Something, anybody help me out? I don't know, so I think that's what I got. That was my beef, I'm done. I'm gonna go cry in the corner now. Thanks, man. Where were you back then? Who's next?
I can't remember the episode with you and Jason had that karate tournament, but like if it happened now, who would win? I mean, she already, if you both were in a tournament.
I'm the only one that was never defeated, and that will not change.
I'm sorry. Since we're at FanX, are you a part of any fandoms? I mean, all of us seem to be a part of Power Ranger fandom, so what about you?
I definitely grew up on Star Wars. Absolutely. How much time do I have? 3. 3 minutes, but she is quick. She's on 3 minutes, don't mess it up. Yes, boss. Yes, boss. All right, so Star Wars. Grew up on Star Wars, Chewbacca. Like, I love that big hairy animal. He was awesome. Oh, I can't even do it. Anyway, there we go. Yeah, we all sound like pregnant whales. That's all. All right, we should never do that again. So I love Chewie. Han Solo, awesome. I like Luke. I was like, okay, Luke, he's cool. He's, you know, I am your father. You know, Lord Vader. Vader was awesome. But the Ewoks, I love the Ewoks. Even as a kid, I was like, can I have one as a pet? That's so cool. He just looks cool, and he's got a gun. So Star Wars, love that. I love the Spider-Man cartoons when I was a kid. Who else was I big on at the time? I guess I kind of liked Star Trek. I mean, I was too young to really be into it then. It was already reruns. I kind of liked it. I think Spock. Live long and prosper. And they had those bones. Like, I'm just a doctor. Damn it, Jim. You know? So that was kind of cool. And then, of course, you know, Captain Kirk. He always spoke in iambic pentameter. Do you guys know what that is? So iambic pentameter, that was his speech pattern. It was always as if there was something very specific to be stated. Like, that was Captain Kirk, you know? So that was kind of cool. So I guess, yes, definitely Star Wars. Although, not the new movies. Not the new movies. I mean, they're cool. They're cool. Effects are amazing, but I need my OG movies from Star Wars, you know what I mean? Princess Leia. I might have been wrong about Linda Carter. It could have been Leia that was my first crush. So, anyway, I think that is about it. I gotta wrap it up. If you guys are looking for information on where to find me, just myname.biz, austinstjohn.biz. You can find all my social media, class rings. I have an online store where I do all sorts of toys and cool stuff. I sit on the board for charities. I'm launching a video game. I got a million things. Hit me up on my website. You can find my media and see stuff I have going on. In the meantime, Salt Lake City, thank you guys for having me. Come see me at my table if you'd like to, and I'll talk to you soon.